All right. Thanks for everybody for hopping on here. This is going to be the first part of a series on just kind of getting your Fidesic account configured in Business Central. This will be a multi-part series. So this part is mostly just going to focus on getting things connected, getting things synced across, and making sure that you know your first steps. So if you're watching this, odds are you stumbled into our app on AppSource, which is great. You probably found that Get It Now button. You found the information that said that there's a free version. That's absolutely true. So the free version of Fidesic, you can have up to 3 users and process up to 100 invoices per month through the system. So what I'll be going through today is helping you get that set up in either your test or your production environment to actually get things started, take you through the basic setup steps, and get you rolling. And if you like what you see and you have more questions, contact us, or of course, check out the next video in this series coming soon. So once you've added the app from AppSource, as you probably already have, just go to AppSource and find the Fidesic module that you want to install directly. Do note that there are 2 versions, one for multi-entity management and the standard edition. Make sure that you're picking the right one, and then you can just add that to AppSource, install the extension. Assuming you had the patience to wait through the extension installation, it'll take you to the wizard to get things set up. But in most cases, BC tells you can close the window, so people do that. In that case, the way that you're going to want to get started after you've actually run that install is just open your universal search and look for the Fidesic Setup Wizard. And that will actually take you through setting up your Fidesic account and connecting it to your BC environment. So if I click that, it's going to take me to the Setup Wizard here. Since this is a new account, I need to set up a new account directly in Fidesic. If you already have one, if you've set one up for a different company, you can link them here. Odds are you're not going to want to do that, so I need to set up an account is probably the most likely option that you're going to pick. So it should pre-populate most of this for you automatically. You've got your email that you're logged into Business Central as, you've got your company name as you have it set up. You can modify this if you want for whatever reason. Make sure you have your name. If you want to test out payments and invoicing, I'm going to click on everything because as we go through this, I'm going to set up a couple different things. But if you just want to test the invoice processing, you certainly can just select that and agree to the terms. And really, it's just a matter of clicking register now then. So as you click that, that is going to create the Fidesic company on our end. So basically it's going to create an entity just like the entity that you're logged in as right now and send you an email address letting you know that you are a user and you can actually finish the configuration on your account. But you don't have to click that right away. We can actually sync things up before we get to that. So if I just click keep going here, this is going to let you manually select the dimensions that you want to sync up with Fidesic. By default, we're going to pick the ones that are purchasing related. So it should do a pretty good job of grabbing the dimensions that you want initially, but if you want to change that here, you have the option to do so. I'm just going to keep ripping through. This is a reminder that we have a payment method code that we're creating. We don't have to worry about that this second. And this is just a notification letting you know that these are the things that you're about to sync with your Fidesic account by clicking this next button. So we're automatically going to sync your entire chart of accounts, the dimensions that you selected previously, your company address info, any recurring purchase lines that you have set up on just the generic side setup in Business Central or on the vendor cards. And we're also going to sync those vendor cards across. So this alone is going to take care of a lot of the setup that you would have to do if you were configuring some other solution. All of this information is going to sync across, and what that's going to enable you to do is get started more or less instantly with our account to get processing your invoices for this free version of Fidesic. So this just gives you some info. This is useful stuff. This is the link to the login, which will be useful to you once you've authenticated your email. And we also have a link to our knowledge base, which I highly encourage you to go check out. This knowledge base has tons of good info, has user guides on how to go through basically everything that I'm talking about here today. So if you need a refresher, you can definitely click on that. And once we click finish, we'll be taken to the integration setup screen and show you exactly what is set up in our account. So if you needed to modify anything that you set up in the wizard, this is where you'll be able to do so. Some other useful things that you'll have access to is you can, if the sync doesn't work for whatever reason, you can go ahead and resync it here. And you can also view your logs to check out what's going on. So if you go to show log entries, this will show you every log that's been syncing with us. And as we can see, we're syncing a whole bunch of stuff up with our system as a part of that initial sync process that we just initiated. You almost certainly won't have to worry about any of that, since it should just take place on the background and take care of everything for you automatically. So what you will get, like I mentioned, you will get an email address or an email from us letting you know that we've created your account. And this is a required step to gain access to the site. So I mentioned the login. Until you complete your registration, you are not going to be able to do that. And again, this has direct links to training guides if you need some more references there. So I'll just complete my registration, enter my password, confirm my name, pretty simple stuff. Hit sign up, and that will then create your account and validate the email address that you have on file and take you to that login page. So what you'll be able to do is log in directly into the site using that info that you just created now. So I will do so, and sure enough, we are now in our Fidesic account. I'm ready to kind of start looking at what's going on. So this account is going to be linked one-for-one with your BC entity / instance in here. If you have multiple entities, you can set them up so you can switch between them like I have. But in most cases, if this is your first time doing this, you're just going to have your one account here. So important things to set up. Company info, we're going to sync that. Bank account, we don't have to worry about that right now. Add users is exactly as it sounds. It will let you add additional users. Again, initially you'll be able to add up to 3 users on the totally free version of the system. We're already connected to our accounting system, and then we can talk about the workflow a little bit as well. So these 3 remaining items are definitely the things that you're going to want to take a look at. So the first thing that it's going to have for you is set up your invoice inbox. This is what you'll be configuring to actually start submitting invoices to our OCR system. So if you just click that setup button, go to our invoice inbox settings here, and we can see the auto-generated email that we made for you when you created this account. If you update to a paid version, you can customize this to whatever you want. But right now, this account email is going to be where you can send things directly to send them in for processing. So very common sort of setup is just to start forwarding a few invoice emails that you've received from your vendors to this address and see how that capture is doing. Just to kind of close the loop on everything that we've talked about in this, we've already set up your company profile. We've synced everything from BC. We've synced your chart of accounts from BC, so you'll have all of that available to you. We'll sync your dimensions, so any dimensions that you have configured and you selected as a part of that setup will be here. We'll bring across your recurring purchase lines if you've created those in Business Central. And as you use the system, we're going to create more and more of these and feed those into the learning algorithm. And we're also going to have a sync log available to you here that'll show you if anything synced across, any errors that you encounter. It'll also give you some basic server details about the account that we're actually connected to, what BC version you're on, what version of our module you have. So in terms of setup, a lot of, like I said, most of this is going to take place automatically for you. You're already going to have your vendors in our system as well. Those are going to be something that syncs across as a part of that initial sync. So we'll have all that configured for you, and all that data that I've referred to is what we're going to use for that capture process, assuming you're interested in watching this video, because you want to learn more about automatically capturing your invoices. So to get those invoices into your system for testing, like I mentioned, the most common way to do it is using this email address. Just send things into this ocr.fidesic.com email address, and everything that you send in there is going to be automatically captured. You can also navigate directly to the invoice inbox. So if you've got a PDF lying around on your desktop that you want to upload, you can do that here. And then you've got a couple different options on how you can handle that. So if you want to enter this manually, go for it. You can fill out the basic information, but on every attachment that you send up to that OCR email address, we're automatically going to capture all the data on it for you. And if you want to scrape a particular PDF and add information to it, you've got this Submit to Magic Capture button, and clicking that is going to scrape everything off of your invoice and go ahead and create an actual transaction on our end. The other thing that you'll probably want to set up, or at least know how it works before you do this, is every invoice in our system that's captured is going to be sent into the approval workflow. The default approval workflow that we set up when you create your account is everything is going to be routed to the person who created it. So then you'll be able to see when things are assigned to you directly. You can just navigate to your notifications up here, and then sure enough, you can take a look at an invoice that you submitted. We're able to see exactly what data was scraped off of this invoice, and then you'll be able to approve it, adjust it. The act of adjusting allows you to modify anything on it, and if you make changes here, that does feed into the learning algorithm. So next time around, it is going to get a little bit smarter. And if you just want to manually enter a single invoice, you do have an Enter Invoice button where you can enter all the info, grab your attachments, and process from there. So the way that our system is set up is everything that's in an approved status on our end, which means that all the workflow rules have been completed. This invoice has been validated. It's now going to be ready for export over into Business Central. By default, that is going to be something that you will initiate the process on. So to do that, you just go to Purchasing, Purchase Invoices, and then the option that we're going to add right here is Import Fidesic Purchasing Invoices. And by doing that, you're going to sync those purchase invoices that have been approved from our system into your BC system. You're not going to have to do any manual data entry at that point. They will come across in an unposted status. So they'll be, set in a way where you have to release them if you want to edit them, but they are unposted. So you can go ahead and post that invoice just like any other. The difference is all this data is going to be captured by our system. We're going to include the attachment along with that invoice, and you've saved yourself a bunch of time on having to key all this data in. So that was really what I was hoping to get through in just this ultra short part one of configuring your account. Like I mentioned, you do get up to 100 free invoices per month with this system, and you can track that directly as well. If you go to your company settings and your invoice inbox settings, you'll be able to see how many of those captures you've used. And again, this can be connected to production or test environment. You're free to use this as much as you want. The two things that I will note for you if you need some help is definitely use this live chat if you need direct help using the site. That is going to connect you directly with a person if it's regular business hours, and they'll take care of you and get you pointed in the right direction if you have any confusion or need any more clarification on that part of the process. And I alluded to the help desk a couple times, but you can also get to that through the help menu up here. And of course, you've got email, phone-based support as well if you need additional assistance as well. So don't be shy. Reach out to us if you need help with that, and we'll get you configured. So for the next training, I'll be going through actually setting up the workflow engine, setting up the payment side of this, setting up some other details to get you up and running. But this is sort of the very base level intro, how to get your account connected, how to start processing some invoices, and how to actually take a look at the connection. And then when you are ready, you do have the option to go ahead and click this upgrade button. That'll put you into our standard licensing agreement, at which point you're free to process as many invoices as you want and add as many users as you need. Build out that workflow in as complex a manner as you need for your particular company, and you'll be all set. We'll send you a bill based on your actual usage, and you're free to get cracking. So yeah, this is part one. Look for the other videos that we'll be creating on this, and feel free to reach out to us on either live chat or support if you need any assistance.